So you guys have been asking me about the 100 shirt challenge or the 81 shirts in like 35 minutes or whatever the case is that Juan did. Well, I'm gonna get to that today on live, and I'm gonna talk to you guys about this whole kind of like dilemma debate that's been going on right after the intro. Okay, let's jump right into it. But before we do, you guys know what I need you to do. I need you guys to like this video. I need you to comment, subscribe, do all of that good stuff. And if you haven't already, make sure you're following Juan from Liberty Graphics over on YouTube, because this is where this whole thing came from. Now, Juan did an awesome, great job printing. No big deal, right? Now, what I want people to understand and what I'm trying to get out of this whole thing is not this screen printing is more profitable than t-shirts, because I will argue that it is, right? Based on your output of shirts per month, there's going to be a rent cost, and there's going to be rent and utilities costs that is going to become associated with it, right? So in order to run a screen print like a 6'4" setup or something like that, you know, if you get one of those blue presses, or if you get like a merch maker or some single press, your time is going to go exponentially through the roof on how fast you can go, and you're going to be limited by colors, right? Registration, all that stuff. Take all that out of my hand. You're going to have to, first and foremost, you're going to have to invest a lot more money into getting into a setup that is adequate, right? Like I think the merch maker is the best starter kit, in my opinion, based on ease of use. Now, I had an actual DIY kit from Ryanette. I also had a YouTube before that, just trying to learn and figure out which way I wanted to go. And out of the three, even like the blue press that I've seen, I never used the blue press from eBay or Amazon or whatever the case is. I would go with the merch maker, just because everything is there. The exposure unit, everything is there. It's a science. It's dialed in for you to be successful immediately, right? That video you guys actually seen me do that day was my first time using it. And we kind of got the whole thing rolling very, very quick. All right, so you're gonna need some space. You're gonna need a legitimate amount of space in order to set up a screen print setup in your home, right? You talk about a 6'4", you talk about a 4'4", you talk about any of that stuff, you're gonna need some space. And if you don't have the space in your home, you're gonna need to rent a space, which would cost you anywhere from I'd say $700 to $1,000 in rent to get that thing rolling, right? Now that you got that rolling, versus a screen print setup, which will cost you anywhere from you don't need much space at all. You use a 6-foot portable table. You can literally pop that thing on any table anywhere and get to work, right? So now that you got your equipment to work and your overhead is down, a screen print setup is gonna cost you anywhere from a good $500 for like a basic starter. If you get the kit, the ink, all of the stuff that you need, and it goes up from there. $2,500, $3,000. You have to buy a press. You have to buy a flash dryer. You have to buy a conveyor dryer. You need an exposure unit, and obviously you need some type of pressure washer. But you can kind of get away with the regular hose when it comes down to burning the screen, right? So these are the elements that's gonna matter, right? If you don't have much, you can take your screens to the local car wash, use that wash thing to wash out your screens. You can hack this thing and get by, right? But now, what you gotta understand is when the job comes in, the actual work time. Now, I know the argument, well, you'll be waiting for transfers. I can get this job done in the same day. Okay, cool, I understand that. If you have time, if you don't have time, you got to go with the best method that you have available to yourself, right? So you got to go with the best method that you have available to yourself. It may not be in time to order transfer if you have to produce something the same day, but nobody's asking you to print up 100 shirts the same day. Usually you got about 5 days. No screen printer these days are turnaround work within 3 days. You know, 5 days, 7 days is kind of like the average. 7 business days. 5 days is awesome. you're great. But normally we ask 7 to 10 days. If we get it done in 2 or 3, that's awesome. But if you're waiting around to get this stuff done, you have absolutely no work going on if you're producing things that fast. So, job comes in, right? The screen printer has to do what? Prepare the artwork. The heat presser has to do what? Prepare the artwork. Once you prepare the artwork, you send it into print. We send it into the heat transfer place, to whoever we choose to go print our transfers with. What do they send it to? They send it to their printer. Our job is done. We just wait from there, right? So now what has to happen? They print these films out. Then they have to coat a screen. Then they have to burn a screen. Then they have to wash it out, right? So in the process, this is time, right? Because you coat the screen, it has to dry. You actually burn the film, you got to wash it out. It has to dry again. Then they got to set the job up. So a one color job from start to finish, maybe 30 minutes to setup time, right? Thinking, coat the screen, let it dry, or even if I use some type of spray thing. But the more colors you add, the more time it takes, okay? The more colors you add, the more time it takes, period. Nothing you can do. You got to burn 2 screens. It takes another 2 minutes to burn another screen and wash it out. So let's say another 3, 4, 5 minutes to get another screen ready. You add another color, that's another 5 minutes. You got 3 color job. Now, what Juan did was very, very smart, right? He did a light color garment with the dark color ink, right? Because you can hit that one time and move on, right? So each color was one pass. The more passes that you add, the worse it gets. Like not worse, but the longer the time adds up on you, right? So what does that mean, Stan? Well, if I put a black shirt with the same exact print, he's gonna have to, if he does it the exact way he has to, he's gonna have to hit each color twice to make them pop, right? Or he would have to add an underbase. If you heard him talk about doing a 3-color job, he was gonna line up 6 screens, whatever case. Each time you have to do a pass or a hit, whatever way you want to refer to it, it's gonna add time to what you got going on. That's how it works. The more time, the more colors. Okay, so now, let's just say 30 minutes, right, of actual work time for setup. Waiting for the screens. If you add that 30 minutes of work time in there, 30 minutes at 15 seconds a shirt, let's just say you can do 2 shirts a minute, right? So already in 30 minutes, I'm doing 60 shirts in 30 minutes before he even got the job ready to press. Thinking about work time, right? So if we take that work time out, what you'll find is with transfers, your time is flat. However fast you can work is how fast you can work, right? If you got a dual setup, and I'm gonna go in the shop today, I'm gonna probably do this thing twice. I'm gonna print some on these Hotronics air fusions that they have here, and then I have to actually probably go home, and when I get the new store set up, this is what I was waiting for. When I get the new store set up, I'll do something again. I'll probably do some t-shirt sides with shirts to send out for pretty much next to nothing, covered shipping or something like that. If you look at these different options of what's going on, the more colors, the more hits, the more passes, the more time it's going to take, right? So exactly what he did. Keep in mind, I screen printed. I did all of this stuff. Now, job's done, right? We pack them up. We both got to pack our shirts up, deliver to the customer. Now there's a cleanup. Pretty much with this, we just stack our transfer carrier sheets off to the side, stack off to the side, stack it off to the side, and it is completely done, right? Just throw them in the trash. Now you got to tear down that last job. So what has to happen? You have to clean out all the ink, right? You have to, and now he did mix inks and all of that stuff. I'm not even going to consider, that's not counted because I wouldn't even mix inks. I just buy what the hell I need because I don't got time to be mixing inks. I don't want to mix inks. I don't want to do that stuff, right? So you got to clean out the inks, right? Then you gotta wipe down the screen to get the ink completely off, unless you got the combo ink remover and a motion remover for your job. So now you got that all done. Then you gotta actually reclaim that screen to get yourself prepared. The part of the process that I do not want to spend my time doing, and as a one-man shop, I would have to do, is that part where you basically, now you got to do the setup, which is burning, coating, all of that good stuff. And then there's the tear down, the cleaning up, and all of that good stuff, right? So you got to, those are the things that I don't want to do. In order figure out how to get this done, I would have to hire somebody. At the height of when I was screen printing, you could not walk anywhere in the shop because I would just buy screens. I think they came down to like $11 a piece. I would just buy new screens and they just would pile up all over the place because I had to print so much stuff that the parts that exhausted me were the parts of cleaning up and washing out the screen. I would just load the next job up, get new screens, load the next job up, and get off to printing, right? Now, you can say whatever you want to say. This makes you not a real printer. This makes you not this. Keep in mind, I got into printing shirts not because I wanted to be a screen printer, but because it was a job that I needed to deliver to customers, right? I wanted to get my costs down. Now, I used to outsource my stuff, right? The lady charged me $3. I found a new person, about $2.20. If I provided my own shirts, it was a 50-cent charge or whatever the case was. You get it down to more by the quantities, right? No screen printer who you should go to a local guy, outsource your work to a local guy. You can do with X, Y, and Z, right? Now, you got the cost. So let's think, if I have to be cheap, I'm gonna go with 15-cent transfers, 20-cent transfers, or 75-cent two-color transfers. If I have to be cheap, right? I Like Top Transfers is a friend of the channel. He does, I think they're 40 cents for a 12x9, and I don't know off the top of my head, but 75 cents for a 12x12 one color single image up. The reason I went with them or looked for someone else is because I'm creating stuff for brands and I don't like the opacity of what I used to get with the 15-cent transfers from 613 or F&M Expressions, which is the same company basically. Well, they were both started by the same persons. F&M was Frank and Michelle, and if you think about 6, it's F in the alphabet, and then if you look at 13, it's M in the alphabet. So that's 613 Originals, basically the same company structure. Restarted once he stole the company and his time where his non-compete time ran out. He restarted the company. So if I had to be cheap, I would go with that route, right? Now you talk about what equipment do you invest in. If I invested $5,000 into a nomadic heat press that does what I'm about to do in the shop today on live, I would accelerate the wrong way. Right? I would spend my money there. And what would that afford me? That would afford me not to have to do this motion, and it would speed up my process, get me a little bit better of a heat press to operate with. Right? Now, 15-cent transfers, likely pretty much no overhead. The cost of running a heat press versus the cost of running a conveyor dryer and a flash unit, electricity wise, is going to be an astronomical difference. I can't say precisely, but I'm going to assume it's going to be at least double, if not triple, maybe quadruple the price of running it, right? So we understand all of these things, and now it's about picking the business structure that works for you. Keep in mind, I used to be a screen printer. I deemed that I do not want to do X, Y, and Z. When I started heat pressing, I actually had the same viewpoints that all of you guys pretty much start with, and that is, thank you very much. And that viewpoint is that simply, I'm not going to do iron on. Iron on is bad. It's going to come off the shirt, whatever the case is. That's when I picked up vinyl. At that time, I was shopping at All American, and I had some small jobs that needed to get done. Let me spin around here. I had some small jobs that needed to get done. Those small jobs were for schools that didn't meet the screen print 12 minimum. So that's why I actually got into a vinyl cutter. I went to All American. I'm like, bro, I really don't want to do vinyl, but I'm going to take these orders for these people. And what did that afford me to do? Kind of turned me into creating vinyl. And I just grabbed what they had, which was the Cameo. And I started rolling, started making money. And when I got that thing, I said, damn, why didn't I start this way, right? So what cutter should you buy and all of this good stuff? You pick whatever cutter you want. Mind you, all I did was t-shirts. So I had this machine. It's making me money. Now let me tell the word about it, because it is a valuable machine that can make you some valuable dollars. And it's pretty easy to use and all of that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that was the machine I had. I used it. That's the only machine I've used, and it did me great. So I'm about to head in here, and I'm going to line up these, well, I didn't even have to line them up. I'm going to get ready to get pressing. So So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna have my single setup for printing these transfers. I don't know how many shirts in here, how many I can get done using the Hotronix dual air fusion presses that's here. And when I get home again, I probably will do it again just to kind of like eliminate the naysayers. But you guys want me to get it done. You guys know my store is under construction. I keep getting asked, so I'm gonna knock it out from where we are. But keep in mind, I want all you guys out here to do what's best for you. Whatever that may be, whatever is best for you is the method that I want you to choose. If you want to be a screen printer, go be a screen printer. I got videos on it. I may get it set up for tutorials, but I do not want to get into production without employees. And I was a single man shop and always have been a single man shop. So that part is kind of out of the question for me. And we'll figure out which direction we go as we build this business and roll forward. In my area, screen printers are kind of hard to find. My boy hires them and lets them go all of the time, et cetera, et cetera. And then he ends up printing again, or I end up printing some jobs off for him, or depending on what we got going on, we help each other out. But this is kind of like the nature of the business that I like and versus whatever, you know? So shout out to anybody out here printing shirts, making money. That's the most important thing. A lot of people are trying to create these conversations of what's real and what's not. At the end of the day, the customers that we supply shirts to are real. And if you're making money, the money is green, it's real. And if you're making it the way you want to make it, doing the things that you want to do, everything is good for you. You keep doing that. Nothing else is more important. And keep your eyes on your own paper like your teacher taught you. This has been your boy Stan Bates from T-Shirt Side Hustle. Peace.